Well, well, well. Would you look at this? My name is Simpzy. How you all doing? Welcome back to some more Westeros Total War here today on the channel. It's been years. Here today, we're going to be starting a brand new daily campaign series as House Lannister. So, if you like the sound of that, like, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. Let me know in the comments, feedback, and suggestions. Now, I've been craving some Game of Thrones Total War. It's been years since I've done a campaign on the channel, so I thought, why not? Let's play on the latest Westeros Total War update, which still came out in 2018, rather than playing a Game of Thrones HBO-inspired mod. As a Song of Ice and Fire fan, I've always been more drawn to the books and the book-inspired Game of Thrones mods. I just really adore some of the artwork as well from the fandom. There are some pretty good Game of Thrones mods, which have like HBO's actors and characters from that show. But depending on the support, I can definitely see myself playing as other houses. And it's been, what, nearly a decade since some of those older Westeros Total War campaigns. Times have changed, I'm definitely older, and I've changed as a person somewhat. So throughout this series, hopefully we have a fun and successful campaign, and we will also be talking about history and lore about Westeros, and the characters too. I'm just really back into the Song of Ice and Fire fandom. If you haven't gone to see on my other channel too, Simpzy Total Warfare, we've been uploading a bunch of CK3, AGOT as well. Now, we're just going to be starting this particular campaign before the War of the Five Kings well and truly erupts. We're playing as House Lannister, playing as the mighty Tywin of the West. Welcome to Westeros Total War, the Seven Kingdoms of Westeros, set in George R.R. Martin's world. So let's read this. Lord Tyrion Lannister, the Imp, has been arrested by Lady Catelyn Stark under mysterious circumstances at the Crossroads Inn some time ago. I always thought that was like, what are the odds of them running into each other after he left the Vale? They both happened to be there by chance and rumours. Yeah, I always thought that was a bit suspect. Lady Stark called upon the loyalty of the inn's patrons, bannermen of her father's house, in order to detain him. Tyrion was greatly outnumbered, and no one knows what happened to him. Do you wish to play with interactive supply lines? I think yes. I want to have the pillaging system. The fiefdom script. I'm going to decline that, just in case we lose a bunch of lords from a particular house. To be honest, what did you expect? What did you expect Tywin to do when Catelyn did something so foolish about arresting Tyrion? Under very little evidence too. Pretty foolish by Catelyn. To be fair, the Starks are honourable, but they're just so stupid. Trying to do the right thing. So here are the mighty Westerlands. House Lannister, being one of the oldest and richest families in Westeros, we trace our lineage back to Lan the Clever. The legend says that Lan tricked the Casterlys out of their ancestral home of Casterly Rock, which is the capital where we sit. We have a golden lion on a crimson field, and our words are "Hear me roar," but often it's overshadowed by a Lannister always pays his debts. So here in the Westerlands, particularly in Casterly Rock, we are rich in gold mines and mines throughout the hills. So we're led by the head of the house, Lord Tywin, the widow, and Warden of the West. You forget that Jaime was actually named Warden of the East, but that's beside the point. Tywin is a shrewd and ruthless leader. He's uncompromising, and that's reflected in his traits. He built up his family's reputation back after the failures of his father, Titus, who was seen as weak and indulgent. Tywin is feared throughout Westeros with his strength and reputation. So we've got Jaime under our control. Let's hope he doesn't get captured. So I think throughout this series, we're going to push into the Riverlands. That's our best bet. As the realm wars, the Riverlands burn. So taking that under our control is imperative. We need to make sure King's Landing doesn't fall with my grandson, Joffrey Baratheon, sitting the Iron Throne. I would rather not know about my daughters and sons' impropriety. We might look to make an alliance with the Greyjoys. It is sort of rumoured that, potentially in the later books, the Kraken and the Lion might make an alliance or wed. The Tyrells are neutral for now, but anything can happen in Westeros Total War. I believe there's other houses as well that are neutral and haven't declared. So at the moment, the Lion will die with Tywin and move Kevin, unless we get Tyrion back or he dies or anything happens until we get him married off. But maybe we'll roleplay that Tywin would disinherit Tyrion, which he pretty much has. So maybe we should rule through Lancel, Willems, get them married off. So we'll look to rally up, mobilize, and move into the Riverlands. But let me know your theories and cool facts and tips about House Lannister. I'm curious to know them. We might talk about a couple throughout. I definitely don't believe that Tyrion is a Targaryen. Even though he like his bacon burnt black. I guess there's a chance with Aerys because he's mad, but I think Tyrion not being Tywin's son kind of ruins a lot of the character interaction and development in the books, in my opinion. Alrighty-o. So, Jaime's further back toward Sarsfield and Ashmark as we make plans and preparations to flood into the Riverlands. Now, we definitely probably have the more superior and numerical army advantage, along with the Crown Land forces. It's going to be interesting to see how the Arryns, Stannis, and House Baratheon under the control of Renly goes. We've also got to keep a watchful eye on the Greyjoys up towards Banefort as well, and the Crag, because we don't want them to raid, and you never know. From my experience, I swear the Tyrells tend to war the Lannisters. So maybe we need to try and get that alliance sealed, but it's going to be difficult when we don't have control of Joff directly. Okay, so let's make sure we have at least one lord in every settlement, and we'll try and build some watchtowers too where we can, so that they don't spawn rebels. There's already going to be enough rebels throughout the realm, particularly in the Riverland with the Brotherhood without banners and whatnot, and we'll try and assemble the lords. Now, it's been quite some time since I've played this, so it's going to be interesting to see how the balance goes. Looking at all these generals, I was like, oh, okay, we could probably use them as cavalry, but they're not actually that numerical per man, which is interesting. If they were like 50 or 60, we should be definitely spamming those notable generals. I will try and keep some in settlements so they can get traits and whatnot. We've got a huge navy here. I don't know if we necessarily need that. It just depends on our financial situation, but we do kind of want a deterrent for the Red Wine fleet and the Greyjoy fleet, potentially. Alright, let's move some military forces to Casterly Rock, and we'll get the Lannisport line of Lannisters to assemble too. So, Tywin's and the Lannister line will continue, because we've even got, Martin Lannister here, Emmon Frey. You forget how, many Freys are throughout the Seven Kingdoms. There's so many of them. So we've got Stefford Lannister here too, Daemon Lannister. We could get them commanding. We've got Roland Crakehall. He's 56. Tybalt Crakehall's 35. So let's leave Roland there, move you north. And we're just going to go around here now and try and assemble everyone we can, from Cornfield in the south to the Crag to the north. We want to try and rush into the Riverlands as quickly as possible. They're going to be really exposed. And once we get that under our control, we can create a land bridge and push to King's Landing if need be. Because we've still got to deal with the Starks, which will come from the north eventually. And we just need to stabilize Joffrey's reign. But strap yourselves in for a long series, I suppose. And we're just going to try and stabilize the realm. We can't allow all these rebels to go against the Lannisters. Okay, so we currently have an alliance with House Baratheon and Joff. We're at war with Stannis, Renly, the Starks, and the Tullys. So the Freys are neutral. Interesting. And same with the Martells and the Tyrells. We have 4 princesses here. Alysanne Lefford, Kriana Lannister, Jane Westerling, and Elaine Westerling. Don't want to get Jane Westerling anywhere near Robb Stark. I do hate that change in the show so much. I prefer Jane Westerling. Okay, let's go around and build some roads. Being able to navigate throughout the Westerlands is imperative. Now in the show they made Robb's lover, what was her name, Tulsa? Wasn't she like a healer from Volantis or something? In the books, it was so much better, like the Jaime Westerling and Rob's relationship, because it was like rooted in like honor and guilt and like affection. Like I can't remember if Rob was injured, but he ends up at the crag from what... And there's also this theory that House Westerling sort of pushed Jane onto him a little bit, but he ends up spending the night with her, and then not to sire an illegitimate child, marries her, leading to breaking his betrothal with the Freys. It's interesting that did Rob make his decision because of like how badly bastards are treated and how badly his mum Catelyn treated Jon Snow. That's a first-hand experience of illegitimate children that like Rob had. But in the books too, she actually survives and is not even at the Red Wedding, but Tulsa dies. So you never know, she might be pregnant with Rob's child potentially. Alright, so welcome to the top of the turn. Rob has declared himself King of the North. We are the strongest faction as we look to push into House Vance's lands. Here is House Westerling too. Alright, so Tywin is just south of Atlanta. And then from what I remember, House Vance is like split between those two. So we've got Swift, we've got Westerland Swordsman, got a bunch of lords here with Tywin and Kevin. I could move Tywin straight to King's Landing, but is that a bit of a waste of a full stack? I'm not entirely sure. But we're going to be able to besiege one of the branches of House Vance. Kurth Vance is now there. And let's move Kevin near Swift. So technically we are trespassing through Tyrell lands. Maybe that's why. I just don't know how to get into the Riverlands elsewhere without doing so. It's just because of the game limitations. So we've got Lancel and Tyrek here. We'll try and move them to Tywin. Let's make sure Lancel Lannister is nowhere near Cersei. Amory Lorch 2. So taking Harrenhal, taking Riverrun will be easier said than done. So we got Joffrey's capital there. So hopefully he can withstand against Stannis and Renly. But maybe we'll see if it gets sieged. It's really going to be interesting to see how this run goes. Alright, Jaime is near the Golden Tooth now. Oh, and we've managed to see Edmure Tully. Man, they did Edmure Tully so badly in that last season. Oh my god. From my opinion, honestly, I think things were going downhill after season 3. Like, there was a lot of changes that I didn't like in season 3, but I think, yeah, there's some one-off episodes. I don't even know if Battle of the Bastards was even that good. Now, looking back at like rose-tinted glasses, I genuinely don't even know. There's some like one-off good episodes past season 3, but jeez. Yeah, I'm a little bit jaded. Alright, so let's maintain some sort of military presence on the coast. We don't want the Greyjoys to start raiding. Also want to try and move those noble ladies into the Riverlands and towards other houses, just so I can get some diplomatic relations. I want to try and get them better charm before I marry them in, but I could just marry them all to Kevin's children. Okay, so Edmure is in striking range here. We've got Jaime with a full stack and Presta too. So let's get Jaime to push. So Edmure has seen Jaime Lannister descending upon him from the Golden Tooth. And we've got another full stack coming on. So we've nearly got 5 or 6 once we've mobilized full stacks. So we've got a fair few in operation. So there's like a core building here too. Interesting. Alright, let's keep Kevin nearby. Let's end the turn and continue. Once we start taking castles, we should be able to offset our financial issues. But yep, the King of the North, the Starks have risen and declared themselves vassals no more. Rob is being rebellious. I would rather not adopt anyone because I would rather use real characters. So our end of term report is just terrible. Wait, Tyrion Lannister released. He's won his freedom from the Vale. Oh, okay. So this is interesting. With the help of the clansmen. So is Tyrion gone to King's Landing now? So Tyrion, we can't control him. Alright, so I believe sometimes you can get thrown out the moon door. Interesting. So Tyrion Lannister in this timeline has been released. Heaps of frays there. And we've got some roads being constructed. Nicely done. Well, maybe we don't need to put Kevin down there to King's Landing. Yeah, so we can't control him. Alright, so it looks like it's going to go to Kevin and then this line. Alright, so let's rally up with Amory Lorch. And we've got some Tyrells nearby. We could push Kevin. Maybe we just sit here just in case like Renly or Stannis look to snipe King's Landing. But maybe we're better off controlling it. I'm not entirely sure. Alright, let's continue to move the noble women over. Okay, so Tywin is currently besieging our first settlement in the Riverlands. We're rallying up in the Den, and Jaime has an opportunity to get rid of Edmure Tully. So the more pieces of territory in the Riverlands we can take, the more houses, the more banners we can bring, the better. We'll make them bend the knee, and then we can recruit from there. I'm not entirely sure who we can name as Lord Paramount of the Riverlands. Maybe we give it to... Well, I was going to say Kevin, but that's not going to happen. Maybe we give it to Tyrek or something. Actually, look, you know what? Let's give it to the Frey line, because we've got Frey Lannisters there, of course. Alright, so I'm going to attack Edmure here, but I'm going to go around him so I can make sure he gets bounced into this other army. So, we've got a massive opportunity here today. Let's fight this one on the battlefield. Jaime Lannister, with 2,800 Lannister forces, has an opportunity to get rid of Edmure Tully. Alright, let's just hope this isn't a trap. But we have an opportunity to capture Edmure Tully, eldest living son of the late Lord Hoster, played by Tobias Menzies. Yeah, he played Brutus in HBO Rome. He's actually a really, really good actor in the show. But even, like, his differences from the book kind of annoyed me too. He's just way more of a complex character. He's more of, like, depicted as, like, brash and impulsive and a bit of a buffoon in the show. I do find it quite funny that he was with Rosalind when the Red Wedding ultimately happened. So in the books, it's the same as the show. After the Red Wedding, he was taken and used as a bargaining tool by Jaime Lannister to retake Riverrun from the Blackfish. Yeah, they also did the Blackfish dirty too. Killed him off camera. I can't believe that. Yeah, that season 8 scene at the Great Council when they're electing a new king, where he like awkwardly attempts to nominate himself and he's just dismissed by Sansa. It's like, hang on a minute. This guy's one of the most senior living characters in Westeros. He's been in captivity for years. His son has been taken to be like a ward in the Westerlands. Like, sit down, uncle. Okay, thanks, Sansa. Also from like his father's funeral too. Like, wasn't he drunk because he was so upset? That's why he kept on missing the arrows. And said he's like a bumbling buffoon. Alright, honing back into this battle. We've slowly but surely closed the distance. We've got a couple of units on the left and right to overlap. We do have the numerical supremacy, and Edmure's like full-on charged into us, which is probably not a bad idea. Some of these weaker spearmen are just getting trashed. We are using non-flammable shot, but the Tullys and the Lannisters are going toe-to-toe. So, Edmure's pushed out to try and delay us from besieging Riverrun. I suppose it's just trying to delay us as much as possible until the Northern Army arrives with 20,000. But we're trying to, essentially from the Lannisters' perspective, stop these rebels against the legitimate king. Okay. So, got my cavalry now, focusing upon their archers. Jaime's doing quite well. You never know, we actually might be better off to just get rid of Jaime and Tywin. Although they're pretty good commanders, but fight with Lancel, Willem and Kevin, because then they can have more children and allow House Lannister to flourish. But I suppose the main objective of this series is not to allow King's Landing to fall. Try and support the family. Get rid of the false kings. Renly hasn't officially declared his independence, but he would have. Same with Stannis. Rob, there's the pop-up, but Storm's End, Dragonstone, Winterfell, I suppose. Conquering the North is going to be easier said than done. And same with the Riverlands. Okay, so looks like Edmure is on the back foot. We might even look to ransom him too for cash. But we've got Blackwoods, we've got Malisters, we've got a variety of cool looking heraldry. Alright, let's just try and run down as many of them as we can. But although we're in a really good position to win the War of the Five Kings, as we push further into the Riverlands, we are going to be leaving our coast and southern territory. But the battle is very much in our favour. Jaime Lannister is going to win the first major victory for this war. Okay. Can we get him? Oh, we might be able to try and run him down. Even Jaime's arc too. Man. The Kingslayer probably should have got rid of the Night King. I felt like Jon shouldn't have. It just doesn't seem like something George would do. Okay, so Edmure has now fallen. But it's going to be so interesting to see how Winds... I bet you... I don't know, man. We've been waiting so long for Winds of Winter. It's probably just going to be such a mid-book. We're never getting a Dream of Spring. Alright, so Jaime with a clear victory. Only losing 400 men. But we've managed to get rid of Edmure Tully, which is a huge bargaining chip for them. And now the Blackfish is being given the command. Let's ransom the remaining Rivermen, because that's a decent amount. But the Lord of the Riverlands is dead. His heir, whether or not of Tully blood or not, has succeeded him. Interesting. Just because the Blackfish is just so old. 59 now. Okay, let's get more military forces over. And let's move Presta further up. Now we're in range of Pink Maiden. Let's get Kevin to go back up towards Tywin. So, Ellery Vance, Hugo Vance, Keith Vance. Where's JD Vance? Alright. Let's auto-resolve this one, as we're going to be able to take the castle with ease. This member belongs to one of the noble houses of Westeros, House Vance. So, just loyal to the Riverlands. From what I can remember, isn't there like 2 branches of Vance? One in Wayfarer's Rest, one here. Either siding with, back in the day, the Greens and the Blacks. Alright, let's retrain and repair. So Tywin has taken his first castle in the Riverlands. Let's try and run down Ellery Vance. And we'll look to ransom him if we get him under our control. Rejected. And let's continue to push further deeply into the Riverlands. I think we'll try and rally up with Jaime towards Riverrun, then going towards Harrenhal. Let's continue on. Oh, Brynden has pushed up. Interesting. Oh, wow. The Brotherhood was born. This is a massive exposition. While Robert Baratheon was still king, during his fatal hunting trip, reports of brigands of the Riverlands had reached King's Landing. Lord Stark, his hand, has sent a force under the command of Beric Dondarrion. It's interesting that they changed him from, like, Season 1. There's been so many character changes. I think the OG Mountain looked better, by the way. The second Beric was better. Anyway, raiding and protecting the small folk, Beric was ambushed by Sir Gregor Clegane, the mountain who rides. Once Robb died and the Lannisters consumed control of the Iron Throne, Beric became outlaws, but they still needed to face the King's justice. Interesting, yeah, because the roles ended up being reversed. And then Clegane was now fighting in the name of the law, while Beric and his group of outlands were rebels. It's so interesting. Oh my god, I can't even remember that last plot where they got together. The Hound and Thoros of Myr and Beric. Oh my god. Kill me in Minecraft, bro. That was so stupid. Alright, let's get Kevin involved. So, House Vance of Atlanta has now bent the knee and, for all intensive purposes, submitted to the will of Tywin, surrendering the castle. Okay, so we've got some rivers and Vances here. We've also got Willowwood, so let's allow Tywin to move through the forest there. That was a little bit scary. So, Robin Rhaegar of House Rhaegar, so they rule Willowswood. We're currently at the Deep Den, getting more additional reinforcements. We have Lucon Lannister, and we also have Daemon and Devon from the Lannisport Cadet branch. So let's try and bring them up and over. We're hemorrhaging cash at the moment, but it doesn't seem to be essentially losing its military forces. I feel like debt is sometimes incredibly weird in Medieval 2. Sometimes it like disables units, sometimes it doesn't. At the moment, it's not really doing that much of an issue. In some of the newer Total Wars, you start losing units and stuff. Like, we might have I don't even know what it is. Like, I guess, like, we're in debt. We can't afford to build anything. And then retraining and construction gets halted. So, maybe we try and get rid of some of these galleys to help our financial situation. Once we start taking territory, it'll be fine. We could start sacking settlements, but I don't want to get the other kingdoms to be that angry with me, because that's like a Medieval 2 feature, where once you start sacking, it brings down your diplomatic relations. And maybe we just go around and up the taxes, because Westeros is actually in a time of relative stability, like development. For example, most of the castles and cities are developed. It's actually in a bit of a dark age, technically. I do find it interesting, all these theories that Westeros is post-apocalyptic, that Storm's End is like a missile silo. The glass candles in the books are like iPhones and phones. There's all these like undercover tunnels underneath Winterfell. So they're like, what? Bunkers and stuff. The wall is a giant freezer. Alright, so let's try and run down Brynden Tully. And, okay, so we managed to capture a lot of his bodyguard. So, he's going to be bounced back to Riverrun by the look of it. Alright, let's move there. Okay, so they are trying to bring more forces. Riverrun is a massive settlement. It's going to be easier said than done to take. So, Edmund Blackwood currently sits there. Brynden is pushed further back. Clement Piper. And we've got Pink Maiden and Wayfarer's Rest, which we can't get to until we take Riverrun, which is the capital of the Riverlands. Alright, let's end the turn and continue. See how the AI reacts. Beric survives. Beric was grievously wounded on a lance, but has miraculously survived thanks to Thoros of Myr. Beric is back. As all thought he dead, the Red Priestess from Myr gave him his religion's funeral rites, and Lord Beric has risen. The men can't believe their eyes. It is always interesting that that the only religion that doesn't have miracles in the books is the Seven. The Red Priestess, the Drown God, the North. They all seem to have sort of magical elements, but yeah, it's interesting. If there's one god manipulating all of them, who knows? Alright, so we've got the red comment here. People look at it and see various different things. King Joffrey's comment. While in the streets, it goes in the name. The Red Messenger or the Red Sword. It's interesting that all these different factions and characters have an opinion about the comment. It actually all syncs up all the timelines too, because they all see the comet. Okay. And some people believe that the comet was something magical passing, bringing back magic in the world, or heightening it, or allowing it to give birth to Dany's dragons and whatnot. Alright, so Lord Tywin is now besieging Willow Wood. We outnumber them slightly by 300 men, and let's fight this one on the battlefield. Come out, little knight. It's time you faced the dragon. Oh, wow. What a creepy and daring quote from Aerion Brightflame as we look to bring another small castle into the control of House Lannister. Okay, that's really cool. So the right-hand side of the castle, by the look of it, is surrounded by water. Same with this backside too. So it's giving us a very limited of opportunities to actually push up in and take the castle. Alright, so Tywin here is with an assembly of generals. So I think the main objective firstly is trying to bring the Riverlands under our control. That will give us a really nice control and be able to ferry troops over to King's Landing. Whether or not we have an operation in the Vale, we'll see. We'll try and get some diplomacy with them. Same with the North and the Greyjoys and the Tyrells. It just depends how aggressive Renly and Stannis are. We might sue for peace. We'll just have to see. But as long as Tywin lives, he's going to be wanting to deal with traitors, rebels, and turncloaks. But the War of the Five Kings is well and truly underway, and House Lannister is taking the initiative. So one of our main primary goals as we move into the Riverlands against House Tully and the Rivermen is to seize Riverrun and then trying to take the levies from the in and surrounding areas. Because at the end of the day, the Tullys are allied with the Starks. Catelyn Tully, married to Ned of course. Most of her children actually look like Tullys. So Robb is essentially the next heir. I do quite like mods which combined the Starks and the Tullys, because for all intensive purposes they bend the knee, and Robb being half Tully, who looks like a Tully too, should control the Rivermen. So we're going to make this a key target, and Jaime, like in the books, has been sent to lay siege to Riverrun. But obviously we're going to have to watch out for Robb Stark if he ever pops up, because he did battle for the Golden Tooth when his Northern Army advanced south and engaged our forces, which was like guarding the passage to the Westerlands. The thing is, the Westerlands are so hard to take. I remember people in the show like, oh, why doesn't Robb go west? Why doesn't he take Castle Rock? Because there's just so many mountains and gateways. But yeah. But we're going to try and reap and raid the Riverlands like Lord Tywin in the books. Unleash widespread devastation just to weaken the River Lords. We've already had Gregor Clegane terrorizing, burning villages, crops, looting and leaving ruin in their wake. I always feel bad for the River Lords. So we can disrupt the River Lords' support for House Stark. Already having this phrase on side. But let's not have Robb Stark be successful, eh? Against the famous battle at the Whispering Wood where Jaime got captured. But yeah, they really should just sort of got rid of him so quick. But I wonder if there's a Red Wedding event potentially. But ultimately, once we take River Run, well, I think we'll install House Frey. Because they kind of forget that, well, they don't really talk about the Freys and the Lannisters how being like so closely related in the show. They kind of just ignore that, but I guess it's a little bit obvious in the books. So we'll let the Freys hold River Run. Place one of Walder's children maybe, or whoever we've got. And then once we take River Run, I suppose we take Harrenhal. Having those two key choke points is massive. But it's going to be really interesting once we have the next generation of Lannisters under our control. The new lords. Alright, slowly but surely advancing. Taking one of our first small castles just south of Harrenhal. And we'll try and get it under our control. Alright. Let's look to move my archers up to deal with the town square. But so far, doing pretty well against the River Lords. It's going to be quite some time before the Starks get there. The more River Lords we can get under our control, the better. I wonder if we're going to be able to get River Lords recruited. We should be able to. I can't remember how the system works with levies in this. Alright, let's get our reinforcements in. We've got some Craycalls, we've got some Braxes too. But yeah, let me know in the comments who I should give some of these lordships and titles to. We've also got a bunch of noble lords that could do with some ancillaries, taking castles. Like, there's like 4 Craycalls, isn't there? There's a fair few Braxes. Maybe create some cadet branches. Okay, so my archers are peppering well. But yeah, this is a really neat looking castle. Cool little assault. Just like a little irrelevant castle, Willow's Whale. But it's cool. We've got the rivers there. The Tully looking drum towers. To be fair, the Tullys do have some of the coolest looking armor in A Song of Ice and Fire. Damn fish scales. The fishy boys. As a Tasmanian, I do quite like seeing a banner with a rainbow trout on it. Trout. Okay. So we'll have to be a little bit careful with my generals here. But they seem to be quite strong generals bodyguard wise. Although they've only got like 200 a man. Okay. Our men are winning the battle. That's good. Let's move some of them out now. Put the infantry in. And we'll slowly but surely get our economic situation back on track once we take a couple more castles. There's no point in disbanding units. I am reluctant to start sacking because of our relations. Because they're still, what, the Greyjoys, the Tyrells, and the Arryns, which are neutral at the moment. Got to give it to the Knights of the Vale. They're still sitting back. They haven't done anything. They haven't even warred in the War of the Five Kings. Alright, we've initiated the countdown now. Tywin, because he's our faction leader, has quite a large bodyguard. And all my archers are just focusing on this one general here. So, I made the decision to move my crossbows and archers up on the walls, so they're going to be able to arc their shot down in there, instead of firing up and over. Our crossbows are going to do well. They're practicing for the Red Wedding. Jeez. It's a pretty good shot. Yeah, it will be interesting if they can get past the twins either. Too, because the twins are a faction in this game. Alright, there goes a member of House Ryder. Tywin losing 400 good men. Yikes. The casualties are going to stack up. I would like to try and get Harrenhal. Maybe I should go for that at some point. It's just going to be a big castle to take. Obviously, it's not going to be that decrepit, you would imagine, before House Baelish gets it. And Donald Noy. Is he even in the show, Donald Noy? Maybe. Alright. So, Willowwood has now fallen. Let's straight up occupy some of Tywin's army has routed, but that's okay. And we'll look to replenish and repair where we can. Lancel Lannister, learning a lot. We've got Brax, Burton and Marlon Crakehall. Alright, well, unfortunately on that note, it is time to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed episode 1 of my Westeros Total War House Lannister campaign, playing as the mighty Tywin. Stay tuned for episode 2, coming out at the exact same time tomorrow. Let me know feedback and suggestions, some of your favourite A Song of Ice and Fire theories. We've talked about a bunch here today, and let me know any stuff you'd like me to cover about Ice and Fire. We can talk about particular characters. Maybe you can ask me which is my favourite Lannister. I don't know. I just enjoy talking about Ice and Fire as I play Westeros Total War on one of my favourite Total Wars, Medieval 2. Alright guys, like, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. Make sure to take care of yourselves. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Westeros Total War is back on the channel, and I can't wait to produce more content for you. Alright guys, take care. Much love from Australia. My name has been Simpzy. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much.